All right, everybody. Welcome back, as always, to the Cooldown Room. We've officially rebranded and renamed this bad boy. So it is February 14th. It's a beautiful sunny Wednesday here in central Illinois. It's actually pretty disgusting. It is sunny, though, which is cool, but all this shit's dead. If you're familiar with how central Illinois works, or any of those midwesterny places, everything's still dead. There's no greenery. Trees have no leaves. Looks like shit. Freezing cold. All that great stuff. Why we live in this state. But anyways, it is very sunny out. It's starting to warm up just a smidge. I think it's like almost 40 degrees out right now. Let's see. Yeah, 40 degrees on my car's dashboard. So not a terrible day out. It's supposed to warm up to a bunch as the day gets on. So I'm going to check that out. Hopefully it's nice. Everybody's got some Valentine's Day plans. I know my best friend on the grid, Passy, sent me a message today about some Valentine's stuff. So love you, brother, my Italian brother. And I hope everybody has a great day. Gets to, do whatever they want to do with their significant others, or not do whatever they want to do with their significant others. Whatever floats your boat. It's just another day to me. So cool. I asked everybody to send me some stuff for this mailbag episode because we're in between races now. Again, there's no race this week. Otherwise, that would be today. I decided I'm going to go ahead and maybe release this today, give some people some things to listen to, whether it's on Valentine's Day or tomorrow. I'm just going to probably release this later today because I'm kind of bored, man. I'm not going to lie. I miss racing with you guys. We played a little bit of Destiny. That was fun for sure. We did some rating. So if you haven't installed Destiny, maybe consider that. I did watch some Daytona racing with Spees and some of the boys last night too. That was cool. So Spees, thanks for the link to that. Every day I get closer and closer to installing iRacing, but I don't know if I'd drive the NASCAR style car. What do you call them? Stock cars or whatever. I don't know if I would ever race those. I won't say never, but I'm definitely more interested in the loop-de-loops and all the crazy shit that goes on with F1 cars and Formula-style cars. So we'll see. Oof, that was a big-ass bug I just smushed. Holy cow. So anyways, this mailbag episode, guys, I asked for some thoughts and things I can expand on a little bit. I got started about 5 minutes ago, so about 8:10. I usually try and keep these to about a half an hour or so, just so people don't have to listen to too much. We also have some good ideas for the damn podcast this week. Again, it's kind of a weird week as we're in flux between races, but we're going to try and do something this week. A random idea popped in my head, and the guys seemed to like it, so we all felt pretty strong about doing it this episode, the next episode of the damn podcast that way. But we'll get to that later. Find out more on the damn podcast. Trademark, by the way. All right, so thanks again to everybody who sent me mailbag questions. I'm going to just burn through a bunch of these. I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. I assume I'll be able to get through all of them, but I know myself, and I know I like to expand on some topics more than others, so we'll see where we're at. All right? So cool. Let me get over in this lane, let this nice semi over. All right. Way too early off-season predictions. All right, so we're like a quarter of the way through our season, which is awesome. Way too early off-season predictions. Let's see, what do I think? Well, that's tough. So we have quite a few rookies, or we had quite a few rookies this season. I think I think we'll have at least 2 more rookies next year. That's one prediction I have. I feel like we'll get 2 more on the grid. I feel like let's see. I feel like at least one team trade is going to happen. So somebody's going to swap constructors. It ain't going to be Ferrari, I'll tell you that much. We ain't going anywhere. Fuck out of here. But we did switch to Williams for a day. That was funny. But I don't think I'm going anywhere. But I do think we'll see somebody swap constructors with each other. I assume there'll be at least one teammate swap. So we'll, you can ship your teammates around and stuff like that. Maybe we'll see something like that. What else do I think will happen? I don't know. It's tough. Like you said, they're very early. I think Francois might come back. I know the summer season or whatever you want to call it is a little bit easier for him to get to. So I'm hoping that whenever we start the next season, I'm hoping that he's available for that. That'd be super sick. It's another fast dude on the track. That'd be super sweet. All right. I don't really have anything else. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good one. Most improved season 5 contenders. So Matthew Painter just snagged a wheel, so that's definitely on my list of people that'll get better, which is scary to say because they're already quite fast. I'm going to buy some new pedals, so I'll take myself. I think some of these guys will get wrapped up in the league too, hopefully. Hopefully a lot of people keep racing and things like that. I've considered doing something in the off season where we get to set up races on Wednesdays and things like that. I'm not a 5-lap guy. I won't really participate in the 5-lap races, as you might notice in the off season. I'll come hang out with you guys. That's totally fun. But I'm not a big fan of the 5-lap races just because you race totally different in those than any other race, and I personally don't learn. Oops, I just punched that thing. I personally don't learn a lot from those races, other than how fast my time trial laps should be. So those aren't really that fun to me. But I would maybe try and do like they have those intermediate sized races. Maybe I'd set like a small thing up for that, or maybe a good chance for us to try and get the F2 League off and running. The F2 League sounds really fun. I'd be interested to see what kind of attendance we could get for that. It'd be super cool to get a bunch of guys doing that, and I'd love to do commentary on that. I know that's a lot of fun. People seem to get a kick out of that when we would do commentary over the races. So that's definitely on my radar for that. But yeah, I think Painter's going to get faster as he starts to fall in love with the wheel. I think Jordan just bought a wheel too, so Jordan's going to get faster. Troy's going to hashtag dust off the wheel, as me and Passy like to say. So I think he'll get faster too, and should be awesome. I'd love to see everybody develop a ton as the off season progresses. All right, I'm going to skip that one. I'll come back to it. It says baseball stuff. I'm going to come back to that. Rivalries in the league. Yeah, I love that. I love that we've kind of leaned into that a little bit rather than shy away. I love that I'm getting pushed by people just based on like my position in the race and things like that, and things people say. For me, that motivates me. So thanks. Keep it up. I'm hoping everybody else finds some motivation with the rivals that we spent a bunch of time making graphics for. I find that very motivating because it's literally the easiest benchmark you can make is, did I beat this person in the race or did I not? Oh man, I'm tired this morning. And I think it's a great way to generate more engagement also, and it helps with the over-unders. It helps with tons of things. So I really like the rivalry setup. I know there's some old ones that might get rehashed too, like Keaton and Tyler. I'm hoping Tyler's issues get solved and he's right up there battling with Keaton. That was always a fun one for me when I was first started in the league. The kind of people that you like, and this sounds like one kind of way, but you like look up to those guys because they were two of the better drivers, and the league's just more fun when there's someone pushing the top guys for sure. That there's always a good battle. That's probably why people are disillusioned with the season a little bit, because Keaton and Speeds are just running away with the season, which that's just boring, you know. Like imagine if Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton or Verstappen and like Leclerc were teammates. That would have been mad boring, I think. And if they had the Red Bull car, that'd be super boring. So anyways, I like the rivalries. I'm hoping we get some more fast guys to push Speeds even a little bit, because I don't think Speeds even tapped into his full potential. He's just kind of out there beating us because we suck. So I'd love to see that too. All right. let's talk baseball. I'm into talk a little bit of baseball. We got some time here. It's my fucking show. You don't like it, leave. You don't like the baseball part, get out. All right. I told you once before. You don't like it, leave. Some baseball stuff. So, man, the Dodgers are the easy one to talk about, right? That's the layup. They've built quite the team out west. The things they've done with the contracts, people are going to say it's shady. I mean, that may be the case, but it's just smart business. Who gives a shit? If you can do it, you find a loophole, so what? That is what it is, man. If an F1 team finds a loophole in side pod engineering or how to reduce drag and stuff like that, like they're going to do it. Make the rules better. What do you want? You know, we can be mad at the Dodgers all we want, but the thing is, your team could do that shit too. So let's not start the Dodgers are cheating stuff. I hate that. It drives me crazy. It's like every year I hear the Yankees spend the most money, and whether that's true or not, which it's not, your team can spend fucking money too. It's just they can. They're fleecing you for tickets. You spend $12 for nachos. Like, you don't think they have money? The chips are stale. It's government cheese. They got the money, dude. I promise you. They have money. Those guys ain't fucking eating McDonald's McChickens. The owners aren't. I promise. They got money. They can spend it. I was so sick of that narrative for Cubs fans for a long time. I didn't want to shout out Cubs fans, but fuck them. Here we go. But forever long, dude, it was like, the Yankees spend so much more money than the Cubs. We don't have any money. What are you talking about? Your stadium's filled every fucking game. You lose 100 games, your stadium's full. You win 100 games, your stadium's full. It doesn't matter. They didn't make or lose any more money because of ticket sales or people buying their shit. They're one of the most iconic, for some ungodly reason, they're one of the most iconic franchises in the whole league. They sell infinite merch. Golly. Drives me nuts. Yankees spend a lot of money too. Fuck yeah, they do. Their stadium's full. Win or lose. They make infinite money on merchandise too. They have what I would consider one of the most iconic logos in all of sports. People buy that shit internationally. Same with the Cubs. That's why Shohei Ohtani is such a huge land for whoever snagged him. You know, when the Dodgers got him, it's infinite endorsement money. It's infinite jersey sales internationally. He's a huge icon, not just domestically, but internationally too. That's why he's a huge deal. Great player, obviously, but he untaps all kinds of potential for marketing and stuff like that. That's why it's a big deal. That's why a lot of these players, they're signing, you know, it opens up a new market for them. The Cubs did that just a couple years ago. You know, they're opening up the market, and they were trying to position themselves for a way to get Ohtani. They didn't. That's just it's I don't know what Ohtani's motivator was. It was a money thing, which it probably was. You know, he went to arguably the best team in baseball. So there's also that. So we get great roster and good money. Who cares? He got both. Good for him. He looked great. I watched the batting practice video. Obviously, those all are pretty staged up and whatever. But he looks great. I don't know how his arm's going to be after the injury. It's pretty rough stuff. But yeah, good for the Dodgers. Fuck them though. I hope that somehow the Padres or the Giants or whoever win the division. That'd be amazing. It is an even year, so look out for the Giants if you're not already. It's not already on your card. All right, so that's the Dodgers. The Braves are still a great team. They'll give them a run for their money in the National League. I expect the Cubs to figure it out, although they haven't really done much this offseason, so I'm kind of worried about what they're not doing. That's sketchy, but that division's just still up for grabs, and the Brewers just got rid of Corbin Burns. I don't know what the Brewers are thinking. I don't know. Who knows what they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. But if you want to get a super sick tumbler, get a hold of me or Passy. We got you on lockdown. Me and Passy got, I don't know, I was fucked up. Me and Passy got all fucked up the other night. And we just, decided to plan a bunch of baseball games for each other to go to. So that's pretty cool. Those are going to be fun, I'm sure. And if you've never been to if you've never been to, golly, why did the name just escape my man? It's not called Minute Maid, is it anymore? What the fuck is the name? Anyways, the Brewers Stadium. It is an epic stadium. It's very modern. If your only experience, and again I'm gonna do this, sorry guys, if your only experience is going to like Wrigley, where you have to park in someone's fucking garage or someone's backyard, you're gonna be like, wow, this is a modern stadium, because you can't see shit when you're walking around. The Cubs trying to get a glizzy or whatever you want, some Cracker Jacks. I don't know what you guys eat. Big old bratwurst, big old steamy, wet bratwurst at the Brewers Stadium. So it's enclosed as well, which is great. It's never frozen. Anyone been to like a freezing Cubs game in the very beginning of the season or very end of the season? That sucks, man. It's fucking cold. I don't want to do that. I barely do that for football games. But the Brewer Stadium is enclosed, which is super sweet, so climate controlled. It has its own exit off the I can't even explain this place to you guys. It has its own exit off the interstate. People fucking tailgate at the Brewers games, which is insane. They're just out grilling out. Never seen that at a baseball game. They're super friendly too, man. I know I went to a Brewers Yankees game one time, and I got to shooting the shit with some people in the parking lot. I'm just like that though. I'll network at a funeral. Shooting the shit, like, come eat, come drink with us. I'm like, man, let me give you some money. Like, no, we don't want money. Just come hang out. This is fun, blah blah blah. So, Brewers fans are usually pretty chill. And then some other cool stuff there. They have. I'm not a Bloody Mary guy. Tomatoes not my thing, man. But they have these giant ass Bloody Marys I've seen. They got like little mini burgers, like sliders on there, cheese curds, all kinds. They got the coolest Bloody Marys. I remember I took someone I was dating once to a game, and she got a Bloody Mary. It was like probably like $20, but it's ginormous. So if you're a Bloody Mary person, they got that. They have a giant craft beer. I'm not a craft beer guy either, but they have giant craft beer. What do you want to call it? Like a bar in there, which is sick. And the coolest part, man, you don't miss a pitch. You walk around the concourse there, it's all open. Kind of reminds me of if you've been to the the White Sox Stadium, how it's all open when you're walking around. It kind of reminds me of that. It's gorgeous, man. It's the Brewer Stadium, top tier. That is one of my favorite stadiums to go to because, again, easy in and out, and the stadium's great. So, shout out to the Brewers for that design. So we talked a little bit about National League, American League, man. My Yankees, they're going to win more than 82 games this year. I guarantee that. They added one of the best players in baseball, Juan Soto, which I'm very excited about. That's my Valentine this year. I'm excited about him and Aaron Judge teaming up. And Stanton, I think, will have a better year. Rizzo had some problems where it was really weird. He got ran into and had a concussion and couldn't see straight. Had a shitty year because of it. I don't know if that's all true or what, but it's hard not to believe because he was doing pretty well before then. So I think the Yankees are going to be pretty good. Obviously, the Blue Jays are a decent team. The Orioles just keep reloading. It's kind of pissing me off. The Orioles are getting better and better. One of those teams again. Your team spends too much money. Haha. Brother, you just signed Corbin Burns. You're spending money on all kinds of shit. Get out of here with that tired ass narrative of we don't have money. I've seen the Orioles Stadium. It's awesome. Camden Yards, great stadium. Been there many times. Got plenty of people in the building. Baltimore's not a small city. Like, stop it. Stop the bullshit. The Astros, man, they're going to continue to do what they do, cheat and win games. They're solid. Their pitching's getting up there in age, so I don't know what's going to go on there. Biggest letdown last year was 100,000%. The Mets, huge payroll, Steve Cohen, and their team was just terrible. I don't know what happened there. They're reworking some stuff, so we'll see how they end up. That's the Mets. They're in the National League, but I thought about them just for a minute. As far as the rest of the American League, man, I don't know. The AL Central is a joke. The Guardians, I almost said the other word, you know what I'm talking about. The Guardians and the White Sox, like, come on, man. Does anybody want to win that division? It sure seems like not. I really hope the Yankees would go get Dylan Cease because I felt like the White Sox already thrown in the towel before the season started. So we'll see about them. See what happens in that division. And then maybe the Twins. I don't know. Who knows out there? And then for the AL West, man, that is a total nightmare division. The Angels suck all the time, regardless of who's swinging the bat or throwing the baseball for them. Very, very bizarre. The Mariners are good. Young, got some pitching. I'd pick the Mariners. I'm probably gonna do like a 3-division parlay. Speaking of betting, a little 3-division parlay on each one. And if I had to pick right now, let's see, National League. Ugh. You got to pick the Dodgers. That's a layup. You have to do that. I'd probably take the Cardinals just because they're just so weird how they win games. I'd probably pick the Cardinals. And then I'd probably pick the Mets. All right, so that's the National League. And then if I was going to do AL, I would take the Yankees or the Orioles. I think I bet the Orioles last year and made a bunch of money. But I think I'd go with the Yankees this year. I think they're going to make a move for a pitcher at the deadline. So I go with the Yankees, Mariners, and then, man, that AL Central sucks so fucking bad. Holy cow. Gun to my head, I'd probably pick the Twins again. I don't know. That's a tough one. All right, enough baseball. Let's see what else we got. I like this one. It was funny. People complain about being slow and shitty but not practicing. Yes, that is certainly a you thing. If you're slow and you complain about it, that is a 100% take a look in the mirror thing. Go dust off the wheel, get your controller, lube up your left and right triggers so you can run some laps. Ask people for help. It's okay. Some people will give it to you. I will. I'm not the best driver, but I'll give you what I got. So go get some seat time. Go hang out. Go sit on the couch and eat some taquitos and, run some laps, man. I don't know what to tell you. And another thing to do, what I thought of, if you absolutely despise like this track, for instance, then skip ahead a week. Like, get your laps in. You feel like, fuck it, I don't really like this track. Not going to get much better here. That's okay. Skip ahead a week. You'll be a week ahead of the competition. You have 2 weeks to practice for the next track. And maybe you can secure points there because you've been grinding it, dude. I don't know. Find a track you like and grind it. That's my best advice there. All right. All right. What made me choose to become a Ferrari fan? That's actually a good question. So David got me into. We always get each other into stupid shit, David and I. It's kind of a funny relationship we have. But David got me into it. I think he just pestered me about it enough, and I was finally like, you know what, dude? I'm so sick of this dude messaging me, texting me about F1. I'm gonna watch. I'm not really a big race car guy. I don't, I've been to Firecracker 400, the 2500. I've been to some races. I've considered going to the Indy 500 a few times, but I wanted to go for the party. I'll be completely honest with you guys. That's all I wanted to do. I could have cared less about the racing, whatever shit. I don't know. I didn't know anything other than Sports Center. I knew a lot of drivers because that's just my brain retains weird stuff like that. So I knew a lot about NASCAR because of whatever Sports Center coverage, and plus with my grandparents living in Daytona, you got to know a little bit about racing. So that's that. But anyways, David pestered me to get into it. Our usual spiel: watch Drive to Survive, do this, do that, whatever. So I turn on Drive to Survive, and I see this beautiful goateed Monegasque man, and I was like, "Ooh, wow! I don't know what's going on in my pants right now. That feels kind of weird." All right, that's kind of cool. So I fell in love with Charles Leclerc, and I am a bright color fan. If that makes any sense to you guys, I'm a very much display all the traits of a Leo. So bright colors really get me, and I love that Ferrari red, man. That scarlet red, that looks clean. I don't care what you said. That looks awesome. So I really loved that. Obviously, being Italian, that helps quite a bit. Logo looks great. There's just all those little things for Ferrari, and I know they have a rich history as well, which is pretty cool. So that's probably my reasoning for becoming a Ferrari fan. And they have great gear, man. They have good stuff. I think maybe it was Red Bull that had the best gear at the time. When I was looking around, and this might sound rich coming from a Yankees fan, but we haven't won shit in 20 years, so lay off me. I thought about Red Bull as well because I really like their merch, and they just happened to be one of the best team at the time. The only teams I really didn't consider was like Haas. Just not really a fan. That livery's ugly, and their drivers were kind of douchebags at the time. Nikita Mazepin. I really didn't like Aston Martin for whatever reason. And then Alpine, I liked their livery, but I wasn't really too big a fan of their drivers at the time either. So that was kind of my push. Probably depends when you come into watching F1, which team you become a fan of. But that's my answer for Ferrari. All right, this one says, oh, this is a good one. Obviously, today you made a rise within the company you work for. Sorry, I'm reading and driving. But how did you get involved with Mission Barbecue starting out? It's a good story. So shout out for this one. I'm not going to attach names with these because I don't know if people are comfortable with these. But anyways, shout out for this question. So Mission Barbecue. So a lot about my career. I worked for a small Mexican restaurant called Carlos O'Kelly's when I was 15. Before that, I was doing like odd jobs. I'd go to Florida, man. I'd lay fucking roofs. I'd carry shingles up ladders. I'd lay tile, glass block windows, all kinds of construction stuff. Dude, I was getting paid when I was a kid, man. I loved money from an early age. If you don't know, money lets you do all kinds of shit. Go get a job, do whatever it is, get a second job, get a third job, whatever. That was me when I was a kid, man. So I helped my grandfather in the summers do all that kind of stuff. I also worked at a small hotel doing some catering stuff in Daytona. So that was a blast, man. My grandfather, God rest his soul, one of my best friends, he taught me a lot about hard work and that there's honor in hard work. And yeah, sorry. Anyways, he was a great dude. Taught me a ton. One of the hardest working people I ever met in my life, and he treated my grandmother with the ultimate respect too. That's just an Italian thing, dude. That dude was fucking hardcore Italian through and through. But yeah, so I did that from a young age. When I was 16, I worked for a Mexican restaurant, like I said, Carlos O'Kelly's. I started off as a busboy, bus bitch, if you will. I was a busboy. Then like my personality kind of came through. That was my first official job, right, with an I-9 and W-2 and all that shit. So personality came through. I became a host, and then I became a designated trainer, and then I worked in, they really wanted me to work in the kitchen. So when I turned, I think I was 17, I worked in the kitchen there. So I worked that job for like 3 years. I actually, it's kind of funny. So I became a trainer in the kitchen as well. I kind of had like a good rise through the company. Anytime you see like someone young in food service, like that's good. Like you want to try and latch onto them. So there was a contest to make a menu item within the company of however many locations, and I actually won one of the 4 slots for that. I was on a menu. My item, I'll tell you the item because I'm sure that I'll get asked. I made an Oreo brownie chimichanga, which was a banger, by the way. So I was on a menu. I was in a commercial for them, and then I don't even know why I quit that job. It was some I was like, fuck, I'm just out. I'm done. I did the college thing, so ISU and Heartland Community College. In that time frame, I still had a job. Obviously, one of the old managers from Carlos O'Kelly's, he worked as the kitchen manager at Buffalo Wild Wings, and they had been open for about 2 months. Oh, that's why I quit. I remember why. I'll get to that. He had worked at the Buffalo Wild Wings. They opened in February or March, I believe, in 2005, and I'll tell you why I remember this. It'll make sense in a minute. In 2005, and so I went to eat lunch there when they did their grand opening, and he hit me up about a job, and I kind of thought nothing of it, and then I was like, all right, well, I'll consider it. So like one of the next days I went in and I filled out an application. I talked to their general manager and their director of operations, and the guy called me literally as I was in my car on my way home and was like, hey man, when can we set up an interview? So I turned my ass around and I went back and got an interview, got hired. And I remember this in 2005 because if you know anything about Mexican restaurants, one of their busiest days is Cinco de Mayo. And I remember I told myself, I don't want to work another Cinco de Mayo at this Mexican restaurant, especially not the one on 555. That would have been a nightmare, right? So Cinco is 5, Mayo is the 5th month, and it was 2005, right? So I didn't want to work 555 because it would have been a complete nightmare, which it was. I've heard stories. So anyways, I work at Buffalo Wild Wings. I start in the kitchen. I become a trainer really quickly. They want to put me on like a program, start running restaurants within a couple months already. They fast track me, right? This one's already 30 minutes long. I'm going to get to all these questions, I promise. This is fun though. Anyways, I fast track. I learn every position. I was on new restaurant opening NRO team. I opened over 20 Buffalo Wild Wings in this area. Plus, when you're like royalty within a company, you can kind of make whatever happen you want. So I did the one at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I did the one in Hawaii. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So that's how that works. But anyways, Mission Barbecue. So after I quit, I worked almost 11 years for Buffalo Wild Wings corporate. I got married. We decided that the schedule was crazy, and my wife. Ooh, I just smacked my. Sorry, I just smacked my my lapel mic. My wife was a doctor at the time, and my wife at the time was a doctor, and she made infinite dollars, and it didn't really matter what I did. So I went to work for a card shop. I had been playing Magic the Gathering for a bit, and the guy wanted me really bad. Obviously, huge public figure. You sell a lot of cards that way. So I sold infinite fucking Magic cards, and then I learned the business side of sports cards, for better or for worse. Total degenerate stuff. I've told stories about, we'd spend $30K in a day, $100K in a day. It didn't matter. It was infinite money we'd throw around. And so I worked for this guy. His name's Sean, great dude. Treated me really well. But I knew that wasn't like a forever thing, whatever. It was kind of like just a pastime thing while my ex-wife is a doctor, So anyways, sold an infinite. Man, when I got good at the sports card thing, man, I was selling tons and tons of money. You're talking like 50 G's worth of sports cards in a week on top of whatever Magic sales. Magic was much lower in the thousands of dollars. It's probably like 5 G's worth of Magic sales a week, which is still a lot, but you're talking big ass money. And so I stashed. Oh, hey, little construction workers, shout out to them, filling in some holes in the interstate. So anyways, I was selling infinite cards. I was, I had a bunch of repeat customers. The repeat customers, man, when you had sports guys come in every Friday when they get paid, and they blow their whole fucking paycheck with you, that was crazy. That was nuts. Looking for the next hit. Sports cards are definitely like injecting fucking hard drugs into your body. Probably worse, because it's more expensive and it's more work to find a buyer for your cards than it is to find someone you can buy some hard drugs off of, in my experience, at least. So anyways, I got sick of that. I got sick of doing like the traveling for card shows and stuff. I played Magic professionally for a long time too, but I was on the road. I think I've told this story. I was on the road for 48 of the 52 weeks 1 year to play Magic, and I made good money doing that too. So it was my side hustle was my main hustle. I was playing Magic professionally and I was selling cards, so it was double dipping in that realm. There was times where Sean would load me up a suitcase. He'd pay for my flight, whatever. He'd buy me a suitcase, and he'd fill it with boxes that we'd sold people, sports cards, hobby boxes full of cards and shit or whatever. They'd be long boxes full of cards, whatever it was. He'd load me up and be like, hey, they're going to come find you at this time. I'll arrange it, just get the money. So I'd be, walking back with infinite bucks in a in a bank bag, or my PayPal would have infinite dollars in it. We'd have to transfer out, so that's that. Anyways, so I got into Mission Barbecue. One of the old managers he was a district manager for B-Dubs. He hit me up, and I was like, no, I'm never going back to food. No, I'm never going back to food. Kind of like how David got me an F1. No, I'm never doing this. No, I'm never doing this. And then finally I was like, God damn it, leave me alone. So my parents were driving down to Florida. I said, hey, do me a favor. There's this Mission Barbecue joint, there was only like 80 locations at the time. I said, I did my research on this place. There's one in Chattanooga. Do you guys mind stopping there for lunch? My mom loves ribs. My dad's a big brisket guy. So I was like, I'll ship you like $50 on, on Cash App or whatever, and you guys go check out Mission Barbecue for me. So they sent me back like this giant review of they loved it. My dad was a Marine. My biological father is also a Marine. Lot of military in my family throughout, all that jazz. My uncle, 30 year in the National Guard. So their whole ambiance was cool to my family. And then obviously the food was great, service was great. Then I went to check when I was like, there's no way, blah, blah, blah. My mom's pretty hard to please anyway. She's kind of a pain in the ass. But anyways, if she thought it was great, it must have been great. So anyways, I go check the one out in Downers Grove. And I'm like, God, these people are way too nice. It's like Chick-fil-A, but barbecue. There's no way this is a real thing. So I was like, fuck this. These people are playing a game with me. So there's no way. So I went to the one in Gurnee. Also after that, I went to the one in Gurnee. And same thing. And I was like, all right, well, this is where I want to work here. This is what I want to do. So I got hooked up with them. I did a 6-week training process, and now I'm where I'm at. One of our vice presidents, so he's like number 2 in control of our company. He refers to me as Midwest Mission Barbecue Royalty sometimes, which I think is kind of hilarious. And then he also, everybody has call signs. Obviously, we're in the military, so the people that are in elevated positions, they don't call him Josh. They call him Too Tall, or the Mute Man. The guy who's another vice president who's in charge of food, they don't call him Paul. They call him the cook. The vice president of catering, his name's Randy. They call him the temp. So then my call sign, of course, is Ferrari, which is pretty funny. So it's not official, but it's mostly official. So whenever you get a call sign in a meeting, it just kind of sticks. It's how it works for us. All right, speaking of Ferrari, what was my initial reaction when the Lewis Hamilton news broke? I thought it was bullshit. I was up at about 1 a.m. and I saw rumblings, and I'm like, there's no way this dude ain't going anywhere. I think I've said this before, they're building a statue of this dude in front of the Mercedes complex. There ain't no way he's leaving Mercedes. But then when it became official, I was elated, man, crazy. It's not often your 2 favorite drivers are on the same team, especially 2 ones that are as talented as obviously Lewis and Charles Leclerc together. That's going to be really great for CL's development and for the team, man, their development. And Hamilton's going to bring some engineers over eventually, and I think they're going to win a championship with those 2, and that's going to be super sick. It won't be the first year, I don't think, but I think eventually they'll figure it out with the new regs and all that. Single most proud moments in my SNS F1 career so far. That's a good question. That's tough. I think, and this is kind of maybe, I didn't bring a Prime with me today. They didn't send me enough in the mail. But my single most proud moment in F1, I think it's just getting to where we're at now, really. I know it's kind of a cop-out because it's not a race-related or anything like that. But getting to where we're at now, I know a lot of times when I get into projects, I take on a lot of responsibility because I want whatever I'm a part of, especially same with Mission Barbecue, I want it to be the best, right? We're number 8 in the Forbes magazine for service, which is insane. We have 130 locations, dude. So we're building something great with Mission Barbecue, which I'm a part of, and the same goes for anything I'm a part of, whether it's it sounds really dumb, but a relationship, whatever it is. If I'm a part of it, I want it to be great. And this league is great. That's undeniable that this league is great. Every time we add someone new, they always reach out to me and tell me how cool the league is, how great the Discord channels and everybody's engagement and the graphics and spreadsheets, all this little stuff that we do that takes up some time. But we have the infrastructure for it now, right? In season 1, we didn't really have it, and Maybe David felt like, I don't want to speak for him, he's never said this to me, but maybe David felt like he was running it by himself, which he probably was. And now he's got some backup. I know a lot of people take on a lot of projects within the league, so thanks everybody who does that. He's got myself and Austin Real, as you know, we sit in that chat sometimes, and a lot of times, guys, we don't even talk about racing. We just talk about life shit, and we kind of vent to each other about whatever's going on, and that's a good brotherhood to have for that. But then we eventually, once that shit's done, we talk about the league. We talk about the league every day. I promise you guys, we talk about the league every single day, what improvements we can make, what happens if this happens, what are we going to do when this happens, here's this idea. We always, and whether we shoot them down or not, like there's always something brewing in there, and it's great to have that. And I think that's my most proud moment, again, is adding more people. The league did not die randomly, and I think it's in very healthy position to retain. I mean, we're talking about adding a fucking F2 league. If that doesn't say health and growth, I don't know what does. We're in a position now where it's not like, man, we got to scramble to go get people again for next year. Like, we're in a good spot. We got a great group, and that's thanks to you all. It's not me or David or Real or anybody who's been a part of the league. That's thanks to you guys, and a credit to people who are reaching out to people they know, or have really dug in and made content or whatever it is that you've done for the league. Yeah, that's my proudest accomplishment for my SNS F1 career. What driver do I respect most in terms of competition? This is tough. Let's see. In terms of competition, I have a really healthy rivalry with Richard. I know we talk a lot of shit to each other, but Richard's a good friend of mine. I actually worked with him when I worked for State Farm. So I think that's probably part of how Richard got into the league, to be honest with you. So I have a really healthy respect for him as far as a competitor. There's Richard. On top of that, let's see. Obviously, Real and I have a great competition. I think Matthew Painter is someone I really respect. He took over the game a little bit before I did, and he's a bit faster than I am now. So I respect his dedication to his craft and getting faster and learning a lot. That's definitely someone I respect, and he's mostly clean on the grid too, which is a cool thing. It's an underrated piece of it all. If I could team up with anyone on the grid for one season, who would it be? Side note, it cannot be a previous teammate. Damn, got me. All right, so Real and I are out. Will and I are out. Garrett and I are out. Yeah, baby, I've had 3 teammates. And now Cam and I are united, which is awesome. So I'm excited to have Cam as a teammate. If I could team up with one driver, who would it be? I mean, obviously, I'd love to team up with Spees because I think I could learn a lot from Spees. That'd be a great teammate for me to have. There's tons of them. I like to team up with Troy so I could teach Troy and get Troy to practice some more because I think he's got a lot of potential. Passy and I would be great teammates. The Italian combo would be awesome. I'd love to team up with David and I. Would be fun because we have a lot of race knowledge between the two of us. I think our strategies would be unbeatable. As races went on, we'd be great for that. I think there's those. I've talked about teaming up with Matthew Painter before, like having the 2 Matts on a team, and the endless shit talk that would ensue. I think would be either one or 2 ways. It'd be either really good for the league or really shitty for the league, because you guys would be sick of us by the end of the season. Yeah, I mean, there's not really anybody I wouldn't want to team up with, but those are probably like the ones that really popped in my head right away, as far as that goes, right? All right. And a lot of those guys are veterans in the league too, so I have a better rapport with them. So that's kind of part of it. Let's see. Chances I go to an F1 event this year. If the chances are high, what events am I thinking about going to? All right, so we're locked in actually to go to the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Myself, Passy, and Keaton are 100% locks. And I purchased a ticket for my father and my stepdad. He's also coming with us. And then my uncle, my dad's twin brother, is coming along also. He's gotten into F1 after I sat down with him, gave him the spiel, and had him watch Drive to Survive. So that's a pretty good crew. We got 5 going out to Montreal. to check out a race. I'm actually going to drive. They want to drive, my uncle and my dad, which is cool. We're going to stop in Toronto. We're going to go to a Blue Jays game first on the way there, which is super sick. I've never been to Toronto or Montreal, so we're going to knock those off my list and go to a Blue Jays game, so I get to bang their stadium off my list too, which is super sick. So that's an easy one. Where else am I considering going? And I'll tell you my future plans too. So I want to go to one of the domestic races this year. David and I have been talking about a lot about going to COTA. I've talked about going to Miami, but it's Cinco de Mayo weekend, which is probably insane given Miami and the demographic there. It's probably going to be nuts and very expensive, which I don't really care about the money, but might be crazy down there. So there's that. As far as that, so next year, I've told myself that I'm going to save some money up, and I'm going to go to Monza for Lewis Hamilton's first race in a Ferrari. I can only imagine that place is a complete madhouse when Ferrari comes to town to race their home track. I can only imagine. And then once you add Lewis Hamilton in a scarlet red fire suit to the equation, it's probably going to be absolute pandemonium there. And I'm for it, dude. I'm in. You sign me up. I would love to go to that. So that's on my short list of ones to go to. My brother lives in China. So we've discussed going to the Chinese GP, which might be kind of fun. I love that track. I love Japan also. So he's not a very far flight from there either. We talked about meeting up in Japan, and my brother knows Mandarin and he knows some Japanese. So I have someone that can help me navigate. But Suzuka has got to be fucking awesome to go to. So those are on my short list. All right, let's see. I gotta slow down. We're in a 65 and I'm going 90. So let me back it down a little bit here. All right. What is something I enjoy doing outside of going out, playing video games, etc.? Any other hobby that I enjoy that maybe not a lot of people know about? And what drew you into that hobby, or what interests you about it? Cool, good question. So yeah, everybody knows I like to dress myself up. I like to spray some cologne on. I like to go out, have some fun, have a couple drinks, do a little bit of flirting, and see where the night takes me. And then obviously racing and gaming are cool. But what else do I do? So I journal a lot. I write stuff. I write notes to people. I write notes to myself, handwritten. That's kind of a lost art. I've also started learning how to play piano. What got me into that? What interests me about that? Dude, I love R&B music, and it's kind of like the only genre of music I listen to. I won't lie to you guys. But the piano, I've never been musically talented at all. So yeah, I can't play the guitar like a lot of people can. I can't play the drums. I can't do any of that shit, right? And I've always admired that. But the piano is really cool, man. It fits my vibe. It's very chill. It's very mellow. It's very low key. So I've started to learn how to play piano. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough to share some of my sick piano beats with you guys. So I'm learning to read music, and that's kind of cool. But that's kind of like my release. It's just me and the piano. There ain't nothing else going on, man. It's a very intimate setting, right? I got it stashed in my spare room. So if you came over for the race, you might have seen it. So my thing is hanging out in there, and it's a cool thing. It's kind of unique, right? If I go any place in the world, where would I go and why? So another piece of me going to Monza is I want to go see the Colosseum. I love Gladiator. Super fucking awesome movie. I love that whole timeline, like the Roman gladiators and all that cool stuff, man. I'd love to go see that. So Rome's probably on my list. Rome, Italy is on my list. All those places down there are on my list. Other than that, I don't really have anything. Brazil, I want to check out. Obviously, I want to try and see a race there. So Brazil's on my list as well. Oh, news broke that Ferrari brought in a new C2 driver. What are your expectations for Ferrari and Cam moving forward this season? And where do you think this team will wind up finishing when the dust settles? My expectations are extremely high. For better or for worse. I feel bad for my teammates sometimes because that's the expectation. I'm hoping to be third in the constructors. I know we got some wood to chop, but now we got some consistency. I'm going to rededicate myself to the game a little bit, especially with Cam. I think Cam could learn. Woo! I think Cam can learn a lot from me going forward. And Cam got really, really good results as the year went on last year. And I'm hoping Cam is in the top 8 somewhere for every race. That'd be awesome. And then my expectations are the top 5 most races. I mean, I've done pretty decent this year. I've had really good qualifying. And then, I've disconnected twice. I got in a wreck with Richard once. The rain race, after I qualified second. So that hurts. But, yeah, that's my expectation is that we'll be third. I think Cam's going to shoot up. I think Cam's going to score some points before some people do in the league, and he's going to jump some people in the league within the first couple weeks too. I give it 3 weeks, and Cam's going to jump some of the people that have been established already in the league. So that's that. All right, cool. That's all the questions in the mailbag. That was fun, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this too. This format. Again, it's an off week, so I didn't have really a lot to talk about race-wise. And I wanted to save some of the other stuff for what we're doing on the Damn podcast, which we'll get to this week at some point. But anyways, thanks for that. Drop me some feedback on the questions or the format if you liked it. If you hated it, that's cool too. I don't really care. Once again, it ended my drive. I'm about to pass Hooters right here on the right side, so I'm about 15 minutes from work, which is cool. I'll jam out to some music to end it. I'll upload this when I can. Probably be today. Again, today's Valentine's Day, so thanks for taking time out on your Valentine's to spend it with me, your forever Valentine. Love you guys. We'll see you on the Damn podcast in a little bit. Don't forget to practice the Dutch Grand Prix at some point. Once again, love you guys. Thanks for the people that, super, super duper sincere thanks to everybody who sent me questions. I wouldn't have been able to do this episode without you guys. Love you. I appreciate each and every one of you, even if you're Canadian or an honorary European. I love you, and I'll see you guys later on the grid.